And on behalf of all Americans, thank you for getting rid of that ridiculous red card.
Obviously, as a U.S. supporter, I'm quite happy with it, but definitely understand the other side and how it's pretty unprecedented.
Just makes a mockery of the whole tournament.
The sportsmanship of this game is in question here.
No matter how many goals he scores, no matter how many games he plays, the world will only remember him from this moment.
Well, it's a row that has led some to question the integrity of the beautiful game when US star Folarin Balogun got a red card for this tackle. And the rules meant that he should have missed the following game against Belgium. In a shock decision, football's governing body, FIFA, said they'd suspend his ban, leaving him free to play. It's delighted US football fans, including President Trump, but it's dismayed others. We look at the questions that FIFA are facing, the impact Balogun could have on the pitch, and what it could mean for the sport. So, what do we know about Donald Trump's involvement? We'll let the president explain it himself.
All I did, I asked for a review because I didn't think it was a foul. And, you know, again, I'm good at this stuff. I didn't think it was a foul. I thought it was two great athletes that crashed into each other and got entangled. That was not a guy punching somebody in the face or anything that, you know, would be different. I didn't tell him what to do. I can't tell him what to do, but and I don't believe he made the decision. I think it was a committee that made the decision, and they made the right decision because, number one, it wasn't a foul. And you know what? If they beat us, then they can be really proud. The other way, if they beat us, we'll say I say it was rigged.
Well, our correspondent Nick Johnson is in Washington. Nick, what more do we know about President Trump's phone call and involvement in this?
Well, we weren't initially sure what President Trump had said on the phone to Gianni Infantino, but we do know now, as he said, he asked for a review into that decision to give Balogun a red card. We weren't initially sure whether President Trump had directed FIFA to overturn that decision, but what he did say was he asked Gianni Infantino to review that decision. But what this leaves, one of the football players there mentioned that this leaves a bad taste in the mouth, and it just suggests what sort of involvement leaders of countries around the world can have in future football games should they dislike a decision taken by a referee.
Well, Donald Trump and FIFA President Gianni Infantino have a close relationship. The footballing boss has been in the Oval Office on multiple occasions. Here he is, letting the president hold the World Cup trophy. Famously, Gianni Infantino also awarded Donald Trump a special peace prize.
Mr. President, this is your prize. This is your peace prize. There is also a beautiful medal for you that you can wear everywhere you want to go.
So, Nick, tell us about the Infantino-Trump relationship. The two seem pretty close.
Yeah, as you got a snippet there, it's fair to say they've got a bit of a chummy relationship. That inaugural FIFA Peace Prize that Gianni Infantino awarded to President Trump at the end of last year. But we heard from the president himself earlier when he was speaking to reporters in the Oval Office. He described Gianni Infantino as a hugely respected man, but he said that his respect for the FIFA president had gone up tenfold since he made what the president described as this correct decision to review that red card for Folarin Balogun.
Well, the player at the centre of this whole controversy is Folarin Balogun. He's been the USA's star player at the World Cup, leading them through to the last 16 with 3 goals. He is crucial to their chances against Belgium. Well, our sports presenter Joe Curry is with us. Joe, tell me more about Balogun. Who is he? Why is he so vital for the US?
Well, for those who hadn't heard of Balogun before the World Cup, they certainly have now, haven't they? And not really for the right reasons. The 25-year-old plays his club football at Monaco in France. But in terms of this World Cup, he's very much been seen as USA's best player, their star and their top goal scorer. He's seen as crucial if they are to get past Belgium tonight and into the quarterfinals. And as things stand, unless we have another twist or turn in what seems to be an ever-evolving story, then he will be starting the match in just a few hours' time.
And Joe, what did he do to get the red card?
Well, in the round of 32, the USA were taking on Bosnia and Herzegovina. He had what was seen as a poor challenge in the moment, was shown a straight red card. Now, many at the time actually thought that the red card was a little harsh, but players at this World Cup aren't able to appeal red cards. There isn't a process in place for that to happen, and so he was very much expected to serve his one-game ban, as he should have been, in tonight's match. But because we've had this intervention as something we've not really seen before, he is now available to face Belgium.
So we've looked at what's happened behind the scenes and who Balogun is. Now let's take a look at how he's been allowed to play. FIFA have said it is all because of something called Article 27. Explain to us what Article 27 is and how it's been used.
Well, this is the interesting thing, because I don't have much of an explanation for you, and this is where a lot of the anger around the situation has come from, is FIFA's lack of transparency and the lack of explanation. So Article 27 simply says that it allows FIFA to fully or partially suspend the implementation of a disciplinary measure. That's all anyone has been told. Belgium has asked for more information as to how this decision came about, and so far they have received nothing. Just to put it into context, we've had 11 other players receive red cards sent off at this World Cup. All of them have served, are serving, will serve their suspension. In fact, in all World Cups, we've had 188 sendings off, and until now, only one other player has avoided that suspension, and that was back in 1962, and in slightly different circumstances. So as you can see, this is completely unprecedented for FIFA and for World Cups as a whole.
Well, if you thought all this had the potential to spark a major diplomatic incident, you'd be right. Here's what Belgium's foreign minister, himself a former referee, has had to say.
As a former football referee myself, I've always been committed to upholding the rules and ensuring fair decisions. And this decision, let's be frank, raises a lot of questions. If it is really one phone call that led to such an incomprehensible decision, that would be a flagrant breach of the most basic rules of football and sports, and that would be very serious. Or, for instance, could FIFA continue to advocate for fair play with any credibility?
So what has the Belgium team said about this? Is there anything they can do?
Well, understandably, Belgium has spent the last few days preparing for this match, assuming that Balogun wouldn't be in the USA lineup, and now they've learned that their star player, their USA star player, is going to be playing, which you assume could change tactics or even the lineup. But as you can imagine, they're not happy at all about this situation. They say they are astonished by FIFA's decision and is investigating all potential options in response. In a statement, they go on to say that regardless of the sporting outcome of this match, they are deeply concerned by the course of events and will continue to fight in the coming hours, days and months in defence of the fundamental principles of ethics, fair competition and the interests of football as a whole. I suspect this is a story that is set to rumble on, and it probably will do more so should the USA win tonight.
Thanks, Joe. Well, the footballing world has been truly shocked by the decision. Here's some of what the BBC's top pundits think.
It's an absolute farce, isn't it? You know, it wasn't a red card, as we all know. Balogun was trying to sort of protect the ball, and he went down, and yeah, that happens. In football, it's a contact sport. We all know that. But to have it suspended for a year just makes a mockery of the whole tournament.
I think it's an absolute disgrace. And Infantino, he should be ashamed of this, because I think for the sportsmanship of this game is in question here. And you know, if I'm one of the opponents, if I'm USA's opponent, I'd be absolutely fuming, but I just think it's wrong in every way.
None of this needed to be a conversation. No one would have questioned it. All right, it was a bit disappointing that he was going to miss the game, but the red card was the red card.
Yeah, we've got to be honest about the situation. It's left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, as it should.
Well, other national teams are questioning whether the decision to let Balogun play is a fair one. Here's England manager Thomas Tuchel.
Where does this end now? Do we appeal if a yellow card is not a yellow card? Do we think it's not a red card, or who thinks it? Where does it start and where does it end? Is my question. I don't have an answer.
Could Harry maybe ask Donald Trump to?
Maybe, yeah. That's a good starting point.
Joe, there's a lot of anger and confusion around the world. What other reactions have we seen?
It feels like there's no one left in football who doesn't have an opinion on this today. UEFA, who is Europe's football governing body, has released a statement which in itself you would have to be something big for them to get involved with. And they say that intervening to effectively cancel a suspension at a tournament crossed a red line. They go on to say that we express our disbelief at such an unprecedented, incomprehensible and unjustifiable decision. The former FIFA president Sepp Blatter, who was replaced by Infantino in 2016 after his own corruption scandal, wrote on the social media platform X that football must never become a playground for political power. And as you heard there, even Thomas Tuchel getting involved, saying, where does this start and where does this end? Of course, we've never had this situation before. And what it may do is open up a situation where players who in the next part of the tournament, who have received red cards, would look to say, well, he's had his card, Balogun, his suspension suspended. Why can't we have ours done as well?
And Joe, we've touched on this, but just how unprecedented is this?
We are in new territory here, but I think what we've learned from this, that we may already know before, is that FIFA do what FIFA want. They are held accountable to nobody, but they can be persuaded to a few things by some people.
Thanks, Joe. Nick, to you, a lot of anger globally about this. Will this cause big problems for Donald Trump?
In a short answer, no, I don't think it will. I think the problems it will cause, if any, long term, are likely to be for FIFA, and their neutrality might be called into question. But as we've already heard, FIFA remain unaccountable largely. But no, I think in terms of what sort of effect this will have on Donald Trump, I think no, I don't think there will be any negative effect for Donald Trump. I think actually conversely, Donald Trump might come out of this reasonably well for some soccer fans in the US and indeed some of his MAGA base in the US as well. Donald Trump admitted when he spoke to reporters in the White House earlier that soccer wasn't up there with America's best sport, and he also said he wasn't aware really what a red card was and the fact that a player, even one of your best players, can get sent off and then suspended for the next match. And you might say to Donald Trump, well, welcome to the world of football, welcome to being a football fan. Decisions like this are sometimes unfair, but I think it's just emphasised that Donald Trump can and will throw his weight around in any arena he desires to, and people are still talking about it.
Thanks for that, Nick. And that is some of what you need to know about FIFA's decision to allow Folarin Balogun to play for the US despite his red card suspension.